What's going on, y'all? It's Athletes Culture again, coming at you with another video. So, with this NBA offseason, a lot of interesting trades as well as signings have been taking place. Now, one hot trade that's actually picking up steam, that's gonna go down, and we're gonna analyze it, is this Russell Westbrook for John Wall trade. Now, both teams, the Washington Wizards and the Houston Rockets, if this trade were to be made, I don't necessarily see what improvements both benefit from. All right. If anything, if you were to ask me, Washington wins the trade, and here's why. All right. Both of them really are owed, not including this 2021 season, but going forward, over $90 million. Okay. Both of them. Both of them are players that are ball dominant, guards, aren't really the best shooters, but freakish athletes. John Wall with his lightning quick speed, Russell Westbrook with his explosiveness. I mean, both are great players in that right due to their athleticism. And, contrary to popular belief, they do have a level of skill set that elevates them too. However, the major knock on them is the shooting. All right. So we look at the contracts. Both teams don't necessarily win there. They play somewhat of the same type of basketball. Where I feel like the Wizards win in this case is that they're getting a player, Russell Westbrook, who wants his own team. One, and who has not suffered the type of injuries that John Wall has suffered. All right. John Wall is coming off, I think, an ACL tear, and we haven't really seen much of him since. And John Wall definitely doesn't want to be in Washington. And as the NBA goes, and with any organization, you don't want to keep a player around that doesn't want to be there, nor do you want to really pursue a player who doesn't want to be there. So in this case, I think Washington gets the edge. I mean, they're getting an MVP award winner, a two-time scoring champion, somebody who's led the league in assists twice. So to me, this is a surefire win for Washington. And when you get to keep a player like Bradley Beal too, you got to look at it. Russell Westbrook was a point guard for two MVP candidate players, Kevin Durant and Paul George. Remember what I said, MVP candidates. Now, Paul George played his best basketball with Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant won an MVP with Russell Westbrook. So what do you think is going to happen with Bradley Beal, who averaged 30 points per game this past season, once he gets Russell Westbrook on his side? I mean, the sky's the limit right there for Bradley Beal. So this is definitely an upgrade for the Wizards. I'd definitely like to see this trade happen ASAP. And even if John Wall goes down to Houston, I mean, he may even turn his game around. John Wall is a very good defender. I mean, I'm surprised, obviously, because of the injuries, he hasn't made more all-defensive teams. But with his size, his athleticism, his ability to defend, Houston actually does not go backwards, per se, when picking up John Wall. Heck, many say if he had a jumper, he'd probably be the best point guard in the NBA. Because, I mean, the guy is averaging over 10 assists a game. He can definitely score in bunches if on the open floor. So if you were to add a jumper to his game, I mean, hey, it's a wrap from there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they can do this deal straight up, swapping over players. No team really takes a hit on the cap. It's just a matter of who wants to be there, who doesn't. The relationship between John Wall and Bradley Beal has been one of ups and downs, uncertainty, both of them jockeying for position on whose team it is. But I think now with this new fresh air, both restarting with John Wall leaving and Russell Westbrook coming in, I think Russ is looking for somewhere where he can end his career on a high note, help another great player like Bradley Beal get off, and I think it'll be beneficial for both of them. Now, what does this mean for James Harden? Now, James Harden, believe it or not, still wants out of Houston. So I think if they were to do this deal, I don't think John Wall playing alongside James Harden really makes James Harden want to stay. And necessarily, John Wall probably even looks at it like he doesn't even want to play with James Harden because that's another ball-dominant player. And if he had issues with an off-ball type of player like Bradley Beal, what do you think he's going to have with James Harden? So really, Houston has got to find a way to either pacify James Harden to stay or just move him immediately. And if they were to move him for a big and then John Wall were to get busy with a big, hey, we could see a resurgence in John Wall's career. But more so, overall, when you look at it, who wins this trade? It's the Washington Wizards, slightly. I want to hear what y'all have to say. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm out.